Today we're going to be making our own Claude Monet water lily pond that he had created in 1899. So let's get started with ours. Today we're going to be making a Monet background where we're going to have a bridge the following week, and then we'll have a picture of ourselves in the bridge. But what we're going to be using is my special tissue paper. So you'll notice I've got different trays at your table. We're going to do certain colors on the bottom for the water, like Monet's lily pads. And then on the top, we're going to pretend that sun and like a tree is nearby us. So when you're grabbing these, I cut them all up, and sometimes they're really stuck together. And they're really thin. If you're looking at it, like this is even two of them. So I find that I need to get my finger a little wet, and then I can peel apart just having one of them. And just think about that when you're using it, okay? So we're gonna be starting with the water part on the bottom first. And what I want us to do is we're gonna fold our paper like a hot dog style. And this way we have a clear idea of where the water and the sky meet. So this type of line that we have right here is called a horizon line. And that's where the sky and the ground meet. And so for us, it's gonna be the water and then the sky. So we're gonna start off with this part down here. It's a little easier to blend and move. But before we do anything else, we need to put our name and our teacher code on the back. So we're gonna do our name and then your teacher code. All right, so once you have that done, the next thing you're gonna see is one of my old brushes and some glue inside of here. Now I put some water in with this glue because we want it to work a little bit. We don't want it like super gooey. We want it to be a little watered down. So if it's been sitting for a little bit, you might need to just give it a little stir. We don't tap because we don't want to add this to anybody else's clothes or on each other, but you'll see it's nice and mixed up. Okay, so what I do is I'm gonna put some glue on my paper. I'm gonna start in a section, and then I put my glue brush on the lid, and that kind of helps me stay a little clean. And then I'm gonna grab some of my tissue. So I'm gonna check that I'm not grabbing a bunch. We wanna do one at a time. So I'm gonna stick this on, and then I'm gonna take another one. I'm gonna stick that on. And you can overlap them. I'm gonna stick this one here. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of my glue, and I'm gonna just brush over it so it sticks. Just dipping in, and I'm just gonna brush it on so that way it sticks really nice. You'll notice that some of the color moves, and that's okay, because these are actually called bleeding tissues. So the color comes off really nice. All right, I also have some purple in here. I'm gonna stick some purple on. And then I've got some darker blues. And you could put these in any which way. You can overlap it a little bit. And you could keep going. So I'm gonna move my tray here so you can see how I'm grabbing. And remember, I'm only sticking to the water part on here. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna add a little bit of glue on top of what I just put down, because we want it to stay. Good. And then I'm going to put some glue in the new areas on the ground here. Kind of spread. Now that I have color on this, it kind of makes it a little easier to see, right? So I'm going to just take some more of my tissues. I just want to really cover up all of the lines here. I'm gonna get some darker blue too. And this kind of gives it a little contrast in the water, just so we have some nice color popping through. Okay, all right, I put down several, so again, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna add on more here. There you go. Just want to make sure I get it nice and gooey. And then I'm going to finish up by putting the rest of the glue on what's left of my project down here. Okay. See, I'm constantly checking that I'm not grabbing too much. I just want to have my colors work. Awesome. And then just make sure you put a little layer of glue, not a lot, because that's when it rips. You just want a tiny bit on it. Get it nice and wet, and that wetness will help keep it sticking next week. Okay. All right, so now that I've got my bottom part of the water done, we're going to talk about the sky. So I'm just going to turn my paper over, and your next tray of colors are going to be the tree colors, so some greens and some yellows. And you do the same process. I'm just going to grab, some of that glue, and I'm going to start in an area. Don't worry if it's got some of the colors on here. If we really need to, we can rinse our brush, but a little bit is going to be fine because you want to see some of the blue in a sky anyways. All right, and then do the same process. We don't want to see any white, so try your best to kind of use these pieces and cover up as much as you can. Some of my yellows are really big. And you can even put some greens on top a little bit. There's no perfect way. And again, go back, add a little bit of glue so it sticks down really good on top. Nice. And continue until you get the whole part done. Okay, once you're done, I'll have an area where we're going to put our dirty brushes, and then these go back and we can put them on the dry rack so they can dry, and next week we'll add in lily pads and our picture as well as the bridge. I can't wait to finish this up with you. All right, so what we did last week is we did the really nice putting on our tissue paper for our water and then like the tree sunlit background. Today we have a piece that's a bridge piece. And I want you, when you put this on, think about, you don't want your feet floating. You want to kind of balance wherever you have this so you can see your face. And then these line up on the edges. So what we're going to do is first, you're going to take your glue stick. And remember, we move it up just a little bit. And we don't need a lot of glue, just a little bit will do. Like this. I did the top and the bottom, and I did these ones closest here. And again, it's not a lot. And what you do is you're going to take this, you're going to put it on your paper, and then I want you to use both your hands, and you're going to hold this down for about 10 seconds, just so it really sticks to your paper. So let's count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. And this is where we can go check of any loose pieces. If this is a little loose, which it is here, I'm just going to stick a little bit of glue and I'm going to hold that side down, and that keeps it down there for a few seconds, right? And I'm going to check this side. I had just a little bit more glue than I needed, and I'm going to hold that down. So now you get to see, here's me from our pictures I took last week. Here's me on the bridge looking over the water and our pretty sky. And what we're going to do now is add using oil pastels. So we got these really cool oil pastels. And we're going to do what Monet did when he looked at his paintings. When you look at Monet's paintings, his Impressionist style meant that they were outside. So they would be outside painting, which is something that was brand new. And the reason they did that, or called it something new, is nobody else really would capture what was happening. Like the sunlight kept changing, and it changed the way the shadows were and everything else. So you can kind of see that's why he did these really quick brush strokes when he did his paintings. And we'll take a look at some of his work again a little later. So on here, using our oil pastels, we're going to make our lily pads. So I might want to use our white again, and this is a little dirty. If you need to use a paper towel to wipe it off clean, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm also going to grab, maybe some other colors like a yellow and an orange, and we can make our really pretty lily pads. So here, our lily pads, we don't want them to be giant. We're just going to do a tiny little U like we did last time, and we're going to make like a little W on top or zigzag and color it in. And I'm going to do them on my paper. This one is closer to me as the viewer, so I'm going to make this one a little bigger. And then I'm going to do a tinier one back here. I'll do another one here. I'm going to do a bigger one right here. Okay, so you can see these really pretty lily pads. And I might do a little itty bitty baby one back there. Now using my orange, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a nice shadow. I'm going to blend a little bit of the orange just on that left side of my lily flower. And then I'm going to find a green, and I'm going to draw this lily pad around it and color it in. Now remember, the lily pads, when they're a little bit more in the back, they are smaller. Okay. And then from here, I'm going to take a white, and I'm just going to kind of draw. Remember how we made those little white lines before? I just want this to look like the white kind of lines coming off like it's water. Just makes the water look like the ripples of the lily pads are moving. Okay. And the last thing is on your bridge. If you wanted to use a brown, you could just do a little shadow on your bridge just in the bottom here. There we go. And you can take your finger and you can even smudge it. It's not going to smudge a lot, but it'll give a nice little shadow, and it spreads. And there you have it. There is our awesome Monet bridge. So it looks like you are enjoying one of Monet's art pieces.